If Christmas this year feels less like peace on earth and more like walking on eggshells, this video is for you. Maybe you went to Mass together, but she was distant. Maybe the kids are happy with presents, but you can feel that low level tension under every conversation. And part of you thinks, is this it? Is this what my marriage is going to feel like every Christmas from now on? I want to speak to you today as a Catholic husband about what you must remember on a Christmas like this, so you don't sin, you don't sulk, and you don't waste the grace God is offering you today. Stay with me, because if you get this wrong, you don't just ruin a holiday. You train your children to associate the holy days with heaviness, and you harden your own heart against the very grace God is pouring out through this feast. First thing, Christmas is not a hallmark test of how romantic your marriage is. Christmas is the moment God Himself enters a poor, messy, misunderstood family. The Holy Family did not have perfect accommodations, perfect relatives, or perfect vibes. They had poverty, danger, confusion, and the constant need to trust the Father. So if your Christmas doesn't look like an advert, you're not failing. But as the head, you do have real duties today. The moral theologians are clear. A husband always remains bound by the duties of his state in life, even when his feelings are cold or his wife is cold. That means today, concretely, you're still bound to honor your wife. You are still bound to avoid unjust anger, harsh words, and scandal in front of your children. You are still bound to lead the home in prayer, charity, and peace, so far as it depends on you. St. Peter says, live considerately with your wives, showing honor to the woman as the weaker vessel, since you were joint heirs of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered. That verse is not suspended because she's in a bad mood on Christmas Day. Let me give you a composite story from men I've coached. We'll call this guy Mark. One Christmas, Mark went into the day already resentful. His wife had been cold for weeks, tetchy with the kids, and he felt unappreciated. So, on Christmas morning, when she made a snide comment about a present, he snapped. Sarcastic remark at the breakfast table. A raised voice in front of the children. Doors slammed. By midday, his wife was crying in the bedroom. The kids were anxious, and he spent the afternoon doom scrolling in the living room, telling himself she ruined Christmas again. The next year, after a lot of grace, confession, and some hard conversations, he went in differently. Same wife, same personality, same history, but he made 3 decisions before the day began. First, that he would get to Mass and receive our Lord with as much devotion as he could and offer that communion for his marriage. Second, that whatever jabs or coldness came his way, he would answer gently or not at all, and then take it to prayer, not to his pride. Third, that he would plan one concrete way to make his wife feel cherished. That day, whether she seemed to deserve it or not. That Christmas, there were still awkward moments. She still made sharp comments. She was still herself. But he didn't bite. He kept his tone soft. He took the kids for a walk so she could rest. He wrote a short note thanking her for the hidden sacrifices she makes for the family. By the end of the day, something had shifted. Not a miracle, not a Hollywood reconciliation scene, but she said quietly, "I know I've been difficult lately. Thank you for how patient you were today." 2 Christmases, same woman, same marriage. The difference was the man's decision to act as a Catholic head, not a sulking boy. Now, if you're thinking, yeah, well, but she started it, I hear you. And often, yes, wives can be unjust. They can commit real sins against charity and respect. The church does not say a husband has to pretend that evil is good. But moral theology is clear on this point. Another person's sin never gives you permission to sin. Your wife's coldness does not excuse your harshness. Her injustice does not authorize your bitterness. St. Thomas says that anger can be just in its principle if it's rooted in love of justice, but it becomes sinful when it overflows into lack of charity, especially towards those you're bound to love most. So the question today is not, is my wife perfect? You already know the answer. The question is, am I going to use her imperfections as an excuse to abandon my duties as husband and father? Or will I let her weaknesses become the very material God uses to sanctify me? So practically, what does a Catholic husband do on a Christmas like this? Let me give you a simple 3-step plan for today, not next week. Step 1, take 10 minutes alone for prayer and examination. Go somewhere quiet. If you've already blown up, go now. Tell our Lord honestly how you're feeling, frustrated, lonely, angry. Then ask him to show you where you've sinned in thoughts, words, or omissions. If it's grave, make an act of contrition with the firm purpose to confess as soon as possible. Remember, the church is very clear. God never commands the impossible, and his grace is always sufficient for you to fulfill your duties. You are not trapped in a pattern of sin if you will cooperate with that grace. Step 2, make one concrete act of love towards your wife today. Not because she earned it, but because you vowed it. It could be taking over cleanup so she can sit down, or a quiet compliment about something real, or a short note left by her bedside, or offering to pray a decade of the rosary with her if she'll accept. Make it small, specific, and sincere. You're not rewarding bad behavior. You are choosing to love an imperfect wife the way Christ loves his imperfect church. Step 3, guard the peace of the children. Whatever is going on between you and your wife, do not let the kids become collateral damage. No tearing her down in front of them. No dragging them into adult conflicts. No sulking on your phone while they hover nearby. Your children have a right to see their father leading with calmness and charity, especially on the great feasts. The Catechism says parents have a grave duty to educate their children in the faith by word and example. Today, your example will preach louder than any homily. If you can do those 3 things today, however imperfectly, you will have had a holy Christmas, even if it did not feel like a happy one. Remember, the goal of marriage is not just a happy life. As one of you wrote in the comments recently, we get married to become saints. And God often uses exactly these painful, messy, disappointing days to burn away our pride and teach us true charity. Now, if Christmas has exposed some cracks in your marriage, don't just wait for next December and hope. Use this as your wake-up call. Inside Patriarchy School, we've already got hundreds of Catholic husbands from around the world who are tired of coasting and are finally learning how to lead their homes with clarity and charity. You'll get courses on headship, sex and affection, conflict and forgiveness, money, fatherhood, and spiritual leadership. A live call with me and 24/7 access to NolanBot on WhatsApp, trained on my coaching. So when you're in the middle of one of these moments, you're not left alone with only your frustration. If you want next Christmas to look and feel very different to this one, head over to patriarchy.com and join us inside Patriarchy School. Your homework today is simple. In the comments, without shaming your wife, tell me what you found hardest about this Christmas as a husband. Was it her coldness, your temper, the in-laws, the pressure of money? And tell me one small way you chose to respond differently because of your faith. Your honesty will help other men realize they're not the only ones fighting this. Merry Christmas. Christ came into a real family with real problems, so he could enter yours too. Let him lead. And I'll see you in the next video.